This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions.
Hi, this is Joe Rabil. So I want to give you a stock market update. Now, I was planning on doing an update on the XLs, the major sector spiders as well. But the fact is there's a lot to talk about with respect to what's going on in the S&P. So I'd rather focus in on that again this week. When I get an opportunity where we don't have a whole lot going on, I can cover the XLs. So what I can tell you is that a lot of them are playing out. They're in a way similar to the S&P, especially some what have been leaders. All right. So it's not the type of thing that I think there's any imminent moves developing that we're like, wow, you really want to know one sector versus another. I think we want to focus in on what's taking place in the S&P right now, see where the key levels are in terms of support, how much damage has been done, and where resistance could come in if we do rally. And just some things we need to be on the lookout for. All right, let's go ahead and get going with that. Now, before I do that, if you want to learn more about some of these techniques, you can go to rabilstockresearch.com/book. And you can get some information on the book that I put out on a lot of these techniques. Also, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button and also subscribe. Okay, so anyone who's been watching this channel for the last few months, you know I've had some issues with what's been going on. I'm going to get into that, the momentum side of the equation and what we've been talking about now for the better part of, 3 or 4 months now, is the exhaustion signal in the ADX, right? But the other thing that we have discussed is since this point here and going to new highs, the volatility has been up, right? So we've had this two-prong issue, which is the S&P was moving higher, but we had lost upside momentum based on the ADX not confirming, and the volatility started increasing. Now, what I've been saying for quite some time is that we kind of need some proof that price is breaking, right? That there's a trend shift. And I was looking for a true break of the 18-week. Obviously that happened last week. Now we're getting some follow through. So that just kind of plays into what I just want to make sure I covered kind of where we're coming from. And now let's go ahead and look at what's taking place right now because the sentiment has now dropped negative. So 2 weeks ago, we were at 20% more bulls than bears, which was a pretty good drop. We were at 40. So look, when we were up here, let's see, when we were up at this level, it was 47% up here, right? And then we kind of bounced around, didn't make a new high. We got up into maybe around 40, 43 or something like that at this point. And now we've dropped to negative 7%. I mean, everybody is turning bearish here, all right? So we've got to keep that in our back pocket. We keep that in our back pocket and we keep this in our back pocket. This is an oversold condition where a lot of people are bearish, all right? Now, if we're going to look for a buying opportunity, we need to have something set up on this up here. All right. We know these are going to be negative, even if we're going to get a bounce off of these indicators being oversold and having a bearish sentiment. We're still going to have a high volatility environment. I mean, you can see the size of these bars. Look at the size of these weekly bars. Now, this is kind of what you'd expect when we're in a decent market condition. And you can mix in a few of these, but if it keeps going, you can see where this blue line, this average true range moving average starts to rise, and it has been rising because the size of the bars have been growing. Now we've got blood red, big decline bars, and there's a lot of high volatility. So this is potentially an opportunity, but we need to be on the lookout. And again, I use these as secondary indicators, and even this as a secondary indicator. And that means that they are conditions, true market conditions. That's why I call these market conditions. They're not signals. They're not a signal to buy. Just because we go negative in sentiment, and that means there's more bears than bulls out there, which is, I'm telling you, you go back historically, that is usually a really good time to think about being a buyer for at least for a trade. But the reality is that we want to wait for the primary indicators to give us some sign. Now, we're not going to get those signs from the bigger time frames. All right, they're too slow. The monthly chart is going to be too slow. The weekly could be based on all the volatility. So we're going to kind of want to lean on the daily chart and we're going to want to lean on the hourly chart right now for signs of a reversal once we hit key levels. All right. Now, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on this as I switch over, but I wanted to make sure I covered that. But right now, we've got the same conditions we had last week, only the sentiment is more bear. People have gotten more bearish, and we've gotten more oversold. Everything else is basically the same. All right. Now, we can see what's going on. When you look at the daily chart, these are pretty good sized bars. You see how the volatility is rising here. So this is the average true range on the daily chart. And so that's continuing to grow. The other thing that bugs me about this is that when you get oversold and there's no reaction, you see how we've been oversold since pretty much back here, right? I mean, that was an oversold reading here, and we just keep dropping. So that's true harsh selling. So, these are concerns, but, the volatility is clearly rising on both timeframes. And this is, as I said last week, and what I've been saying basically for months now to my subscribers, is that this is not a great environment for trading. It's just not, you can try and kind of snag a little money here and there, but a lot of volatility and irregular volatility based on news cycle and people, putting out, getting interviewed and causing the market to jump around. It's not like, a classic volatility environment where you can do well day trading. It's not sitting there watching every economic report or listening to the Fed or listening to what, someone in the cabinet is saying or anything like that. It's causing all these gyrations intraday. It's very hard to even make money on an intraday basis. So best thing to do is preserve capital right now and look for your next real good opportunity. All right. Now let's switch over to our 4 time frames. And just to look at it, we're getting, so what I've been talking about now for quite some time, right? We moved up here and got up to the 600 mark, right? About 4 or 5 months ago. And I was basically, from that point on, I've been saying, look, we're really extended away. And this has been going on a long time away from the 18-month. We need to work our way back to the 18-month. Now, it'll probably, and what I was saying here was we'll probably wait until the new year. Well, it took until March to get things going. I mean, February started to reverse, and now we're kind of finally getting things going to the downside. But I think, the target area is this 18-month line. Now, that doesn't mean it can't break that. It's possible it'll break that. But because of the way the sentiment is acting, I'm sort of under the, at least the opinion right now that this is going to act as support. Now, one thing I do want to give an update to, even to my subscribers who watch this show, is that there was a lot of damage. I went through a lot of stocks today, and there has been a lot of damage done this week. All right. There's a lot of stocks that are breaking down, that are showing real violent selling. So we got to be very careful in here. And I think you don't want to be a hero. I would not put on my Superman outfit and go diving in and try and nick it off the bottom and try and pick off a low or something like that. We want to see this stabilize. And there's a couple things we can really be on the lookout for. And one of the big things is the volume. Okay. I mean, we need to see bigger volume, I think, if we're going to make some kind of a climax pattern. I don't see a momentum divergence. You see how strong the ADX is? So the only way this is going to bottom out here in any meaningful way is with big volume. So I think we need to be on the lookout for that. Now, I did want to take just a minute to talk about this 18-week line. Last week, I mentioned the possibility that if we closed poorly last week, that we would probably open up this week and the 18-week would start declining. Well, that's the first time that's happened since 2023. All right. Now, that's important and it's not important because we're already so oversold and we're getting close to the 18-month that, yeah, we could end up bouncing here as this is the week it's starting to turn down. We could be getting closer to a bounce. But what it tells me is that the trend that was in place is over. Now, that doesn't mean we're starting a bear trend. We could be starting a sideways trend, but the uptrend has ended. And now we're going to have to go through some form of rebuilding, creating new support, some form of a climax or something like that. And that probably means this MACD is going to need to work its way back down to zero. So some kind of an imminent reversal that takes this to new highs, I think is very unlikely. Now, there's another reason why I'm saying that. We had this key support area at 5,800-ish, somewhere in that zone. We've clearly broken that. And when you look at it on a daily chart, let me just take this back down so we can look at this on the daily. So you see, if we're going to spring a low and form a spring and form a undercut and rally pattern, we need a low to do that off of. Well, we've taken that out. We've taken this out. We've taken this out. There's nothing to spring off of. In fact, if we rally up, we'd basically just be rallying into resistance now. We don't have the potential for that spring pattern. It would have to be one of the most dynamic rallies off the low. And right now, we can't even get a buyer to step in. So, if we're going to get a spring, we might need to come down to something like this, which I'm not necessarily looking for. So the first thing we want to do is see a volume explosion, and that could cause some kind of a rally back towards resistance. Now, how strong the buying is on the rally is going to tell us whether we set the stage for this, or whether if it's a light volume rally, then that's an opportunity to be a seller, and then we'd want to be looking for a reversal here as the next big decline. All right, so we can go and look at, let me just do this real quick. Let's just go and look at you can see how this played out in 21. We had, pretty substantial move similar to here, similar to this, right? And then we had, look at this monster down bar. Now that happened in January, but you see how it happened early in the month? Well, we're not even halfway through the month and we've already had this pretty big a drop. It's possible we could come off the low and get some kind of a rally and make this look like this, right? And it's really just a rally. So we got to be on the lookout for what could be misdirection, all right? And the way we can avoid misdirection signals is staying true to the plan, which is looking at price and momentum and volume and saying, okay, if we get a rally here, how dynamic is the volume? Do we show real strength in the buyers? Do we get DI to make a higher high and a higher low and a higher high, right? Do we get MACD to make some kind of a divergence or a pinch signal? I mean, we've got a lot to do to get this daily chart to look better. Even the hourly, and this is how I'm going to finish this, I think one of the things we really need to see is the ADX on the hourly to not get above 25 one of these times. So right now we're at a new low and this is climbing above. Now MACD is making a divergence, so we could get some kind of a little retracement back up. But I think based on what this is telling me, I'm not looking for the big move yet. I could miss that. I mean, it could happen without me. It could, but I'm looking for a premium. If I'm going to play something as a trade, I'm looking for a premium setup right now. I don't need to be a hero. Mostly in cash, looking for opportunities right now, and we want to take advantage if we get some kind of reversal near the 18-month line, or if we get it anywhere in here. I mean, we're in an area where you have to be ready. The problem is that we just don't have the signal yet. So stay on your toes. Don't come in with any preconceived notions. Except for the fact that you don't need to dive in right away because the odds of a big move, straight up vertical move where you're going to get left behind, I think are very, very small right now. We're going to need a little bit of time to do some mending at a minimum. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.